Welcome, Basslightning here, and this is basically just going to be another creation cave type of production, so just hang on. I'm just bringing you all in on the whole process here. Everything's on, ready to go, but my guitar is not tuned yet, so I'll hit that up and I'll just do some narrative, and then I'll go into some playing and discussion and things like that. I have the E-drummer hooked up, so when I'm actually playing a song skeleton, I can, keep that all good. So kick back, crank up your sound system, and I will be right with you all. Let me get the cam set so that it's all good. Like that. That looks pretty good. Hopefully it stays there and doesn't play the London Bridge is falling down on me here. Once the drums start thumping. All right, here we go. So I have, let me get my cable, the amp's all ready to go. I have the cam on a stand in closer so I don't have to crank everything. There's people downstairs, and I don't want to have to go full show volume here. So just going direct in, no fancy effects. I don't feel like dealing with processor or anything like that tonight. So just raw, in your face, the usual stuff from me. So let's get the tuner going first, and we'll get the volumes set up here. I've got my channel switcher here. It's my live wire channel switcher with the OD. And how's that for up close and personal? All right, so let's hit Mr. Tuner. Oh, of course, it's on the wrong setting again. How about that? All right. Oh, no. Yes. Okay, so. I can tune to different tuner settings on this, so. You gotta be careful, you put it in the wrong one. And what's nice about this is it's vibration orientated, so if there's something else going on, like say you're at a rehearsal and the drummer's doing his thing, or somebody's diddling, it doesn't screw it up. It's unaffected by, exterior sound, which is probably what makes these, so popular. They're not very durable, unfortunately. If it hits the floor on a hard surface, it's toast. I have two of them. I always keep an extra one. They're like, I don't know, they range in price, just depends on what. I have the Fender one here, but there's other ones that are fine, like the Snark. Was it Snark? Yeah, Snark. And there's others, Sony, or no, was it Sony? I don't know. Boss, Korg, all different types of stuff there. So let me just check the cam angle again. I just want to make sure I go over here and make sure that we're all good before I get started with the show here, if you will. It's moving around a little bit here. I've got kind of a funky, I think my octopus stand is not here when I use for my Street Muscle Diary videos, so it's going to be a little screwy with the oh my god, yeah, it's going to be a little screwy here. I've just got to get a good solid stand mount going here. I'm using some different things that I don't normally use here, so let's see here. Whoa! I don't like that. Yeah, see, it just will not. Okay. I know a way to do this, but I have to disconnect the power. So I've got about 50% battery life on the cam, so I should be alright for... If it dies out, then, you know, if I disappear, you'll know that's what happened. I still got the overdrive on, so you can hear it hissing, but I think this will be a much more stable mount here. There we go. Just like that, and I'm going to angle it just a little bit, like that. There. Now it should be appearing at the bottom of your screen. All good? Okay. This is total impromptu. It's not like I planned for, you know, weeks on end. This isn't a regular performance type of deal here. It's why it's part of the Creation Cave series. Alright, looks like the drums are doing okay. And I got those down low, so again, I'm not cranking out too badly here. Alright, so just to bring you in on some of my inner workings creative process here. For those who care, for those who follow my work, whatever. For the others, well, then you don't belong on this live show if you're not interested in what I'm doing. So, there you go. I welcome everyone. So, I'm Basslightning, for those who don't know me. My name is Chuck, in real life. And I've been a professional musician for a long time. I've always played guitar and bass. Most of my experience is in bass, guitar, professionally, and vocals, and out live with bands. Done some guitar work out live at shows and whatnot, but mostly bass, you know. But this is my thing here. This is my... Let me get the light over here a little more. This is my personal space, you know, my home studio, but it's my solo project that I started back in, I think it was 2009, and it was called August Theory, and it was just something I always did on the side, you know, away from other bands, separate from whatever I was doing out on stage. Usually it was, sometimes I could bring a few originals here and there and sprinkle them in, one or two here and there, but it was never the mainstay of what I was doing. You know, it wasn't what I was doing in a home studio, wasn't really what I was doing out live, maybe just a small little percentage of that. So, and you'll find that is the case with a lot of people, not everyone, but with a lot of musicians, a lot of players, is what they're doing in a band is a separate thing than what they do in their solo projects or home studio work, whatever you want to call it. I do have a set list of cover songs. Usually I do those on a Gibson Les Paul or something like that, because that's got the better classic kind of tones, you know. This is a Kramer. It's nothing super expensive, but it is Indonesian made. It's got a solid mahogany body. Nice maple neck, actually. Anything's better than made in China, in my opinion. It's just got the single, you know, humbucker. Old vintage style Trummel I actually prefer over Floyd Rose. Floyd Rose is a pain, like on my Jacksons. And Floyd Rose is a pain. It can be really awesome because of the, you know, the diving potential, and, you know, your tremolo depth features goes way further, you know, with the Floyd Rose for sure. But the maintenance and keeping up with the adjustments and all that, I've just, you know, I'm not into being a mechanic just to have a Floyd Rose. You know what I'm saying? So to each their own on that one. I prefer a vintage style tremolo or a hardtail. For those who don't know what a hardtail is, it's a guitar without a tremolo. Which is why I like Les Pauls, you know. So anyways, and I just use a 50 watt. It's a Gamma G50. It's 50 watt solid state. It has some onboard effects. You know, I have some other effects, you know, processors, a tube amp hiding in the closet type of thing, but I don't really need a tube amp. honestly, for this stuff. This setup here sounds excellent on the video mixes that I'm getting. Out live, this would actually work too. You probably would have to, mic it through a PA type of thing, or, line out type of deal. But, all right. So anyways, instead of going on and on rambling about concept philosophy with my gear, we will get on with the show. So with the newest material that I'm working on, what I try to do, and this is always my concept and theory, is I always try to, something's missing here. Wait, what's missing? I don't have my sunglasses on. Oh my God. OMGs on that one. That's a shame. I just cannot play, without, how about that, huh? So, anyways, back to what I was saying. I always, in my concept and theory, always, and this is kind of forever, I've always done this, is I try not to do repetitive things, repetitive chord patterns, repetitive riffs, but there's only so many combinations that work with vocals. I think I explained this on the other Creation Cave. I try to do stuff that, I think there's a fingerprint on this lens because, holy, all I see is blurriness. And my eyesight is good, so shouldn't be seeing blurriness. I try to rearrange patterns and, chord patterns, new chords, different chords, solo work and all that in different formulations, so to speak. And as I've said on other Creation Caves, I try to, I do, make it so it's a little different. Even if it's a similar arrangement, I put a different spin on it because it may work with a different set of lyrics and it works for that idea for that song at that time. I'm not thinking, well, I wrote a song that had a similar chord pattern 6 years ago and I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. I'm probably not going to be getting signed by a record company anytime soon in this world, day and age, and all the ridiculous nonsense going on out there, which I won't get into all that. But, it's a different vibe out there in the music business nowadays with internet completely taking over the entire planet. Definitely a different thing now. It's a different vibe. It's not sight unseen. It's how many followers do you have on your Instagram, which is ridiculous, but that's the modern world, man. But the one good thing that I do like is that I can share my music with old friends and family and new people alike who haven't heard me before and people that I don't really know in the real world who have followed my music for years. I appreciate you too. There's people like that, other musicians. What is it? Doug Center? Doug, if you're watching. Cool, man. Bring back the witch. I want the witch back. Bring back the witch, the New England witch. Dark and heavy. Yes. It's an inside joke. Doug will know what I'm talking about. Not really a joke. I'm serious. Bring back the witch. So he's just one example. He's a good musician, good front man. I think he lives in Lyndonville, Vermont. He has a cleaning business with his girlfriend, and for his day gig. And he's also a musician, songwriter. He does cover songs too. He has a lot of experience. And so if you go back online, check out New England Witch, like on YouTube and past stuff that they've done. So there's some really good material in there. He sent me one of their CDs. So very cool. Thank you, Doug. You will be my fake Facebook friend forever. Oh my God. All right. So moving on. So I've explained some of my concepts in terms of my arrangements. Like I always try to come up with different chord patterns that maybe, okay, so here's a real simple example. I will just do, before I get into the whole performance part here, I'll do a couple songs for you too. But so let's say I'm now I may come up with another song that works with that chord pattern, in which I will change around some of the. I may change the root position key. I may change, you know, I may change a variety of things. The the chord pattern, reverse it, because it might sound good backwards with a new set of lyrics that's different. You know, all songwriters, I think, have a concept in this way. Some of them are just write as they go, but like for me, I always try to have a plan, and that's what I do. Don't try to force creativity, because you'll just get writer's block eventually. Sometimes that works, you're forcing yourself, but most of the time my best creative work has come from when I'm not planning on writing a bunch of stuff, and it just comes out. That's the best, obviously. That's where I've done, let's see, let me think. I'm going to try to brainstorm. August Theory debut album, Stone and Steel, Mind Warp, 10, that was an EP, that was a shorter demo thing. There's 4. Agoraphobia, there's 5. I know there's 2 more. I've done so much material, man. I'm going back through the catalog over the last, 24 years. Holy, well, wait, no, that would be 2000. Sorry, 14 years. That'd be 2009, about 14-ish years. So over my catalog, I did write before then, and I had a few songs. Like 7 Days was a song of mine I did with Nitrophonic, which is reverse spin. As far as I'm concerned, any band I've done Roger Sherman is reverse spin. I'm not going to call it to the changing. I never agreed with him about changing the name like that all the time. I mean, every time we did something new, he'd put, dude, use the same name that worked for years and years, He always insisted on changing the name, and it was never as good as reverse spin. Nitrophonic is not as good of a band name, as reverse spin. Not at all. We also did Overtime, not as good. We also did Room to Boom, not even close to as good, even though that was with Rich Albert and Rick Danforth. That was a 4-piece thing we did a few shows with. Was a Johnson Controls Christmas party, which was excellent at the Elks. Or no, it wasn't the Elks. It was a Moose Club in Bennington. And then we did an Armory show for the troops. That was cool. There's a video recording of that exists. It's at Roger's house, buried somewhere, which I'm not going to bother going and bugging his family about. But yeah, video footage does exist of that show. The only video footage there is. And I lost mine when I moved, of course. But so yeah, just not to get too knee deep in the history and all that stuff, but that's basically where I'm at with that. So why I changed August Theory to Basslightning was because August Theory has been on the palette for, since 2009, and I just changed it to Basslightning about 6 months ago or so. And it really had nothing to do with anything I was doing professionally, or I don't know. I just figured it was time to turn a new page, try some different approaches, even though the music's basically the same, it's not in the approach and the way I present it. Maybe it is in some ways. It depends on your interpretation. It's all subjective anyways. But yeah, so I would take, anyways, I'm wandering again. So I take that chord pattern. So let's say I'm in B minor, and we'll say. So I'll just take, and I can drop down the second note to G flat, which. And I'll go up to A sharp. Sorry. G sharp. And you've heard a few of my songs that way. Ghost Ship is that chord pattern. And there's a few other songs that I've written in that chord pattern. And I've changed it around a little bit. The B minor. And with the G flat and E in the bass. And then a G sharp. It's actually G sharp minor 11. is the actual chord. For you technical head theory people out there, I have to explain it and verify it, to everyone. So, I can take that chord pattern and make a lot of different variations and combinations from those chord patterns and change them around, start in a different, in a different key. I can do them in a different key. I can, but it just works really well with the open E on that position on the, yeah, that would be, yeah, this in the second position with the B minor, when I'm actually just using open position, B, and this is B minor. So, in layman's terms, that's just some chords that go together well with lyrics. So I think, that's just one example. I mean, I can go on and on and on about different combinations but that's really the basics of, how can I explain this? That's the foundation of what I just explained there for pretty much everything I do all the time. So that's why I explained that. It's not like that's my favorite chord pattern. It's just that's one that I do it with, and I've done it with 1,000 other ones. But you need to come up with stuff that's creative, innovative if possible, but it's hard not to let your influences come through on that one. Obviously, the melting pot kind of creeps through without you intending it to, and that's just the way it goes. If I play bass, you can hear Geddy Lee, John Paul Jones, a little Stanley Clarke, and that kind of thing. When I'm playing bass, I can't help it. The guitar, you're hearing, probably more like Angus Young, a little bit of Randy Rhoads, a little bit of 10 Years After, a little bit of Hendrix, of course, a little bit of Jimmy Page, of course. The melting pot thing, I can go on and on with that, because that's what got me into it in the first place. It was my first Kiss album when I was 7, Kiss Alive 1, and then I started playing drums to that, drumming the Kiss records. It was just a beginner, it was a Tama see-through drum kit. You could see through it. It was clear crystal with like little crystal things around it. It was a really cool set. I really wish I didn't ruin that set eventually. It just got beat on, and that's really what started my whole musical story, was drums. And that's why I have a good sense of rhythm now, I believe, is because I started on a rhythmic instrument, went to guitar for a while, picked up bass, kind of ran with the bass thing for a long time, because that's where I could get all my work done in southern Vermont, Massachusetts, New York, and all that. And, but I always played guitar, and I always arranged drums. And I do the whole ensemble because, a lot of times when I'm doing this stuff, I'm the only one here. I'm the only musician here. I'm the only one I'm not going to try to expect people to gas money and time away from their family to come here and work on my material. It just, I don't want to do it, so I don't expect other people to. That's why it's just me doing all this stuff, and plus I can just do what I want. I don't have to compromise or listen to anybody's nonsense or attitude or, drama or any of that kind of stuff. I can just do whatever I want. I have complete control, and I enjoy it. I love it. So I don't need to validate anything. I don't need to, I've had great comments on my material for many, many years. Of course, you always get an occasional idiot. That's social media. That's just the way it is. You can't please everyone, and that's just reality. So let's get on with a couple of songs I will segue together, just to kind of make up for all the jibber jab that I've done instead of playing. Yeah, not bad for a bass player. Oh, so, I put those two song skeletons together because, I just figured I would do like a double shot kind of thing and not stop and explain every little part that I'm playing or whatever. Put it into like at least a semi performance. I don't want to seem lackluster, which is one of my old songs, but I wanted to at least put it together in a song skeleton package, so to speak, and all right, let's see here. I'll get that. Okay, so that's about it for this. Would be what, chapter 3 of my Creation Cave series, which I called something different, but whatever. Just kind of like there's some impromptu stuff showing you my creative process, which to me is just as much fun as the actual performance videos, where I have a set sequence of songs that I'm doing and everything's worked out and organized and put together for, that's how I'm playing here is how I'd be playing out live. May not be doing the same material, but I approach it the same way. I try to keep everything tight. I try not to have stuff too twangy or mistakes or any of that kind of stuff. I try to keep everything as perfect and polished as I can. Doesn't always work out that way. I am human. But thank you for joining me, and hopefully you enjoyed the impromptu performance. I am Basslightning, and I will close you guys out with something a little darker, as you know me. So until we meet again, I'm Basslightning.